The psychology of people who talk to themselves reveals a fascinating intersection of cognition, self-regulation, and emotional processing. While it may appear unusual or even concerning to outsiders, talking to oneself is a common and often beneficial behavior that reflects a sophisticated way of managing thoughts, emotions, and actions. People who engage in self-directed speech are not necessarily isolated or eccentric. Instead, they often display heightened self-awareness, problem-solving skills, and emotional intelligence. Their internal dialogue serves as a tool for reflection, planning, and self-motivation, enabling them to navigate complex situations with clarity and intentionality. Talking to oneself is a powerful cognitive tool that significantly enhances mental functioning, particularly in areas such as memory, focus, reasoning, and problem solving. When individuals verbalize their thoughts aloud, they are essentially externalizing the internal dialogue that would otherwise remain abstract and intangible. This externalization allows the mind to organize information more clearly, making it easier to process complex ideas and evaluate potential outcomes. By turning thoughts into spoken language, people create a tangible framework for understanding, which can improve comprehension and retention of information. For instance, when trying to solve a difficult problem, articulating each step of reasoning helps the brain track logical connections and identify errors that might be missed in silent contemplation. In this way, self-directed speech functions as both a cognitive scaffold and a rehearsal mechanism, enabling more precise and efficient thinking. From a psychological standpoint, talking to oneself engages both hemispheres of the brain in a coordinated way. The left hemisphere, which is dominant for language processing, becomes activated when words are spoken aloud, while the right hemisphere contributes to broader conceptual thinking, pattern recognition, and creative insight. This bilateral engagement enhances cognitive flexibility, allowing individuals to approach problems from multiple perspectives simultaneously. Moreover, verbalizing thoughts helps reduce cognitive load by offloading mental representations onto speech, freeing working memory to handle other critical tasks. Essentially, self-talk provides a form of cognitive relief. It prevents mental clutter and makes it easier to prioritize, sequence, and evaluate ideas. Self-talk also plays a crucial role in maintaining focus and attention. When the mind is distracted or racing with multiple thoughts, speaking aloud can serve as a grounding mechanism, drawing attention back to the task at hand. For example, people often hear themselves verbalize steps when performing a complex activity, such as assembling something, following instructions, or calculating a difficult problem. This process transforms scattered mental activity into an organized sequence of actions, which improves accuracy and efficiency. By continually guiding their own thinking through verbal cues, individuals reinforce neural pathways associated with attention and executive control, ultimately enhancing overall cognitive performance. Additionally, talking to oneself aids in reasoning and decision-making. When faced with dilemmas, uncertainty, or multiple options, verbalizing pros and cons makes abstract considerations concrete, allowing the individual to weigh alternatives more systematically. This process facilitates critical thinking because it forces explicit articulation of assumptions, priorities, and potential consequences. Self-directed speech also serves as a rehearsal for real-world interactions or scenarios, allowing the individual to anticipate challenges and prepare solutions in advance. By converting internal thought into spoken language, people engage in a form of mental simulation that strengthens both analytical and practical reasoning skills. Finally, the cognitive benefits of self-talk extend to long-term learning and memory consolidation. Studies suggest that articulating information aloud improves recall and understanding, as it reinforces neural encoding, and creates multiple pathways for retrieving knowledge. This makes self-directed speech not only a tool for immediate problem solving, but also a strategy for enhancing overall mental acuity and intellectual growth. In conclusion, talking to oneself is a sophisticated cognitive strategy that enhances mental clarity, focus, reasoning, and memory. By externalizing internal thoughts, individuals gain structure, reduce cognitive load, and improve problem-solving abilities. Far from being a sign of dysfunction, this behavior reflects a high level of self-awareness and cognitive sophistication, enabling people to navigate complex tasks and decisions with precision and confidence. People who talk to themselves often exhibit remarkable emotional regulation, using self-directed speech as a tool to process and manage their feelings. Unlike passive internal reflection, verbalizing emotions aloud allows individuals to create psychological distance from intense or overwhelming affective states. By naming and articulating their emotions, whether it be frustration, anxiety, sadness, or excitement, they can observe these feelings without being consumed by them. This externalization transforms raw emotional energy into something structured and manageable, enabling individuals to think clearly and respond deliberately rather than reacting impulsively. In essence, self-talk serves as a buffer, reducing the intensity of emotional experiences and providing a pathway to maintain equilibrium even in stressful circumstances. Psychologically, this process is linked to the concept of affect labeling, where putting emotions into words activates areas of the prefrontal cortex responsible for cognitive control while dampening activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center. By engaging in affect labeling through verbal self-talk, individuals can decrease physiological and psychological arousal, leading to a calmer and more measured response to stressors. For example, saying aloud, "I feel anxious because this task is challenging, but I can handle it step by step," acknowledges the emotion while simultaneously reframing it in a constructive manner. This dual function, acknowledgement and reframing, prevents emotions from overwhelming cognition and supports more adaptive coping strategies. Self-directed speech also serves as a form of self-soothing and reassurance. When confronted with negative feedback, uncertainty, or disappointment, talking to oneself allows individuals to validate their own feelings and provide internal encouragement. Phrases like "it's okay," "I've faced harder challenges before," or "I can take this one step at a time," create a supportive internal dialogue that mitigates stress and reinforces resilience. This mechanism is particularly beneficial for individuals who may not have immediate access to external social support, as it enables them to regulate their emotional state independently. Moreover, self-talk aids in maintaining perspective. By articulating emotions, individuals can evaluate the situation objectively, distinguish between transient feelings and core values, and determine appropriate courses of action. This conscious engagement with one's emotional state promotes mindfulness and self-awareness, fostering an ability to respond rather than react. Over time, this practice strengthens emotional intelligence as individuals become adept at recognizing, understanding, and managing both their own and others' emotions. Finally, the use of self-talk for emotional regulation is often coupled with problem-solving, making it a dual-purpose tool. By verbalizing feelings and simultaneously brainstorming strategies to address the underlying issues, individuals integrate emotional and cognitive processing, resulting in more effective decision-making and stress management. This integration enhances both psychological resilience and practical competence, creating a balanced approach to navigating life's challenges. In conclusion, talking to oneself is not merely a quirk, but a sophisticated method for regulating emotions. It transforms overwhelming feelings into manageable cognitive processes, promotes mindfulness and self-awareness, and provides self-reassurance that strengthens resilience. Through this practice, individuals maintain emotional stability while simultaneously enhancing problem-solving abilities, demonstrating that self-directed speech is a powerful tool for psychological well-being. People who talk to themselves often use self-directed speech as a powerful mechanism for self-motivation and goal orientation. This behavior allows them to reinforce determination, clarify intentions, and sustain focus when pursuing tasks or ambitions, acting as an internal coach that guides them through challenges. By verbalizing encouragement, instructions, or reminders, they create a structured mental environment that enhances persistence and accountability. For instance, phrases like "I can finish this step," or "let's stay focused and get this done," serve to anchor attention, maintain effort, and prevent procrastination. In essence, self-talk functions as a personalized motivational system, ensuring that goals remain salient and actionable. From a psychological perspective, self-directed speech strengthens executive functioning by creating explicit cues that guide behavior. When individuals articulate goals and sub-goals aloud, they translate abstract intentions into concrete, sequential steps. This externalization supports working memory, helping them keep track of tasks, anticipate obstacles, and evaluate progress. For example, the person preparing a complex project might verbalize each stage of the process, systematically reviewing requirements and anticipating potential difficulties. By doing so, they reduce cognitive overload and maintain clarity, making it easier to navigate intricate tasks without becoming overwhelmed. Self-talk also reinforces intrinsic motivation, as it emphasizes personal agency and responsibility rather than reliance on external rewards or approval. People who engage in this behavior focus on self-improvement, competence, and achievement for their own satisfaction. This internalized motivation fosters resilience because their drive does not waver in response to external validation or setbacks. Verbal encouragement strengthens commitment to goals, transforming abstract aspirations into tangible, actionable behaviors. In high-pressure or competitive environments, this self-generated reinforcement can be the difference between giving up and persisting until success is achieved. Furthermore, self-directed speech often incorporates cognitive reframing techniques. Individuals may use verbal reminders to reinterpret challenges positively, reduce anxiety, and bolster confidence. Statements like "this is difficult, but it's a chance to learn," or "I have handled similar tasks before, so I can manage this one too," integrate motivation with problem solving, enabling a more adaptive mindset. By linking emotional support with strategic thinking, self-talk enhances both perseverance and decision-making, providing a holistic approach to goal achievement. Self-talk also has temporal and attentional benefits. It helps people structure their day, sequence tasks, and maintain focus amid distractions. By verbalizing intentions at regular intervals, whether silently to themselves or aloud, they create repeated cognitive checkpoints that anchor attention and reinforce planning. This structured approach increases efficiency and reduces the likelihood of errors, procrastination, or distraction. Ultimately, using self-directed speech as a motivational tool reflects a high degree of self-awareness, discipline, and cognitive sophistication. It allows individuals to sustain effort, maintain focus, and navigate challenges with confidence and clarity. Far from being a quirk, talking to oneself in this way is a deliberate, adaptive strategy that enhances goal orientation, personal accountability, and overall effectiveness, demonstrating the profound psychological utility of this seemingly simple behavior. People who talk to themselves often display a high degree of self-awareness, which is central to their cognitive and emotional functioning. Self-awareness involves the ability to observe one's own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors objectively, and self-directed speech provides a tangible way to practice this skill. By verbalizing internal experiences, individuals create a bridge between their unconscious or semi-conscious processes and conscious awareness. This externalization allows them to analyze, reflect, and evaluate their mental states with clarity, promoting a deeper understanding of themselves and their motivations. In essence, talking to oneself serves as both a mirror and a tool for self-inspection, enabling nuanced insight into one's own mind. From a psychological perspective, self-awareness cultivated through self-talk enhances metacognition, the ability to think about one's thinking. By articulating thoughts aloud, individuals can step back from immediate emotional reactions and consider their cognitive processes. For example, when facing a difficult decision, they might say, "I feel anxious because I'm worried about failing, but what evidence do I have for that?" This verbalization separates raw emotion from rational analysis, allowing for more deliberate, intentional responses. Such reflective practices strengthen executive control, helping individuals monitor their behavior, anticipate consequences, and make adjustments when necessary. Self-awareness through self-talk also improves emotional intelligence. People who regularly articulate their feelings are better able to recognize and label their emotions accurately. This labeling process is associated with decreased emotional intensity and improved regulation, because it transforms vague or overwhelming affect into something structured and manageable. By understanding their own emotional landscape, these individuals can respond to challenges more adaptively, maintain composure under stress, and navigate interpersonal interactions with greater empathy and insight. Additionally, self-directed speech fosters alignment between thoughts, emotions, and actions. By verbalizing intentions, individuals clarify their goals, values, and priorities, ensuring that behavior is consistent with internal standards. For instance, someone might say, "I want to remain calm during this meeting and focus on constructive solutions," which reinforces a behavioral plan and strengthens commitment to personal principles. This integration of cognition and action enhances both effectiveness and authenticity, reducing cognitive dissonance and promoting psychological coherence. Self-awareness also allows for anticipatory thinking. By talking through potential scenarios aloud, individuals can explore various outcomes, evaluate risks, and mentally rehearse strategies. This form of cognitive rehearsal improves preparedness, problem-solving, and decision-making while reducing anxiety about uncertainty. It provides a safe space to test ideas, consider alternatives, and refine approaches before acting in the real world. Ultimately, the self-awareness fostered by talking to oneself is a cornerstone of psychological sophistication. It enables individuals to monitor thoughts and emotions, regulate behavior, plan effectively, and respond adaptively to challenges. Far from being a quirk or sign of instability, self-directed speech reflects a deliberate strategy for cultivating insight, clarity, and self-mastery, demonstrating how this simple behavior can profoundly enhance cognitive and emotional functioning. People who talk to themselves often use self-directed speech as a tool for problem-solving and planning, making it an essential cognitive strategy. When faced with complex tasks, difficult decisions, or unfamiliar situations, verbalizing thoughts allows them to break problems into manageable components. By articulating each step, they externalize mental processes, making abstract or complicated issues more concrete and easier to manipulate. This externalization creates a structured framework for thinking, allowing them to evaluate options, anticipate challenges, and identify solutions systematically. Essentially, self-talk transforms the intangible stream of thoughts into a navigable roadmap for action. Psychologically, this process enhances executive functioning, including working memory, attention, and cognitive flexibility. When individuals speak aloud, they reinforce the sequence of steps required to complete a task, reducing mental clutter and improving focus. For example, someone assembling a complicated piece of furniture might verbalize, "First, I attach these screws, then I align the panels, and finally I secure the base." This step-by-step articulation keeps the brain engaged, minimizes errors, and ensures that critical elements are not overlooked. It also allows them to pause and reassess their approach as needed, improving accuracy and efficiency. Self-talk and problem solving is also linked to error detection and correction. By verbalizing their reasoning or actions, individuals are more likely to notice inconsistencies, anticipate potential mistakes, and adjust their strategy before committing to a course of action. This proactive approach reduces frustration, prevents costly errors, and fosters a sense of control over complex situations. Additionally, it strengthens metacognitive awareness as individuals become more attuned to their own thought processes, learning patterns, and cognitive tendencies. Planning is another key function of self-directed speech. People often use verbal rehearsal to map out sequences of actions, set goals, and prioritize tasks. For instance, before starting a project, they might say aloud, "I need to complete research first, then outline the report, and finally draft the conclusion." This articulation not only organizes thought, but also reinforces commitment to a plan, creating a cognitive blueprint that guides behavior. Verbal planning also helps manage time effectively, as it clarifies what needs immediate attention and what can be deferred. Self-directed speech also facilitates creative problem solving. By speaking ideas aloud, individuals can explore alternatives and test hypotheses in real time. This process allows for experimentation without external consequences, enabling them to generate innovative solutions and refined strategies. It also encourages flexible thinking, as verbalizing multiple options can highlight strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities that might be overlooked when thinking silently. Ultimately, using self-talk for problem solving and planning reflects a high level of cognitive sophistication. It allows individuals to structure thoughts, anticipate challenges, correct errors, and execute complex tasks efficiently. Far from being a peculiar habit, this behavior demonstrates deliberate and adaptive thinking, revealing how talking to oneself can be a powerful mechanism for achieving clarity, control, and effective action in everyday life. People who talk to themselves often exhibit remarkable social and cognitive flexibility, using self-directed speech as a rehearsal tool for navigating interpersonal interactions and complex situations. By verbalizing scenarios aloud, they can anticipate how others might react, consider different perspectives, and adjust their responses accordingly. This internal rehearsal enhances social cognition, enabling them to communicate more effectively, empathize with others, and respond adaptively to unexpected dynamics. For example, someone preparing for a difficult conversation might quietly articulate, "If they challenge my idea, I'll stay calm and explain my reasoning clearly." This process allows them to practice emotional regulation, assertiveness, and perspective taking in a low-stakes environment, reducing anxiety and improving real-world social performance. Psychologically, this cognitive flexibility stems from the ability to simulate multiple scenarios internally. Talking to oneself engages the brain's executive functions, including working memory, planning, and inhibitory control, allowing individuals to consider a range of possible outcomes before acting. This mental simulation strengthens problem solving and decision making, as individuals can evaluate consequences, weigh alternatives, and anticipate challenges. By rehearsing social interactions verbally, they reduce uncertainty and increase confidence, which translates into more composed, effective behavior when engaging with others. Self-directed speech also enhances adaptability in dynamic or stressful situations. Individuals who engage in this behavior can quickly pivot their strategies, reframe problems, and adjust plans as circumstances change. By articulating thoughts aloud, they create a cognitive sandbox where ideas can be tested, modified, or discarded without consequence. This flexibility allows them to remain calm and effective under pressure, whether in professional, academic, or personal contexts. It also fosters resilience, as they learn to cope with setbacks by considering alternative approaches verbally before reacting impulsively. Moreover, self-talk supports empathy and understanding in social contexts. By verbalizing the perspectives, potential reactions, or emotions of others, individuals enhance their ability to anticipate needs, manage conflicts, and communicate sensitively. This imaginative rehearsal enables more nuanced interpersonal interactions, as they can practice responses that are both assertive and considerate. Over time, this enhances emotional intelligence and strengthens relationships, as they navigate social networks with awareness and insight rather than instinctual reaction. In addition, this cognitive and social flexibility extends to creativity. Self-talk allows individuals to explore unconventional ideas, brainstorm solutions, and rehearse innovative strategies without external judgment. By articulating possibilities aloud, they externalize the mental process, making it easier to combine, manipulate, and refine ideas. This practice stimulates divergent thinking and problem-solving, contributing to personal growth and intellectual agility. Ultimately, the social and cognitive flexibility gained through talking to oneself is a sophisticated psychological tool. It allows individuals to rehearse interactions, anticipate outcomes, adapt to changing circumstances, and approach problems creatively. Far from being a quirk, self-directed speech enhances interpersonal effectiveness, emotional intelligence, and cognitive adaptability, demonstrating its profound utility in navigating both social and intellectual challenges. People who talk to themselves often exhibit heightened creativity and imagination, using self-directed speech as a way to explore ideas, experiment with possibilities, and generate novel solutions. Verbalizing thoughts aloud allows individuals to externalize abstract concepts, making them more concrete and manipulable. This externalization creates a cognitive space in which ideas can be tested, refined, and expanded without fear of judgment. By articulating different scenarios, hypotheses, or narrative possibilities, they can explore multiple angles and combinations, enhancing creative thinking and innovation. This process is not limited to artistic pursuits. It also applies to problem-solving, strategic planning, and intellectual exploration, where imaginative thinking leads to unique and effective outcomes. Psychologically, this creative self-talk engages both hemispheres of the brain, combining analytical reasoning with imaginative insight. The left hemisphere, responsible for language and logical processing, structures the verbalized ideas, while the right hemisphere contributes to pattern recognition, abstract thinking, and conceptual integration. This bilateral engagement enhances cognitive flexibility, allowing individuals to approach problems and ideas from multiple perspectives simultaneously. For example, someone developing a story, designing a solution, or planning a project may articulate different approaches aloud, assess their feasibility, and iterate on them in real time. By doing so, they increase the depth, originality, and adaptability of their thinking. Self-directed speech also encourages cognitive exploration without external constraints. Unlike brainstorming in a group or presenting ideas to others, talking to oneself provides a judgment-free environment where failure, absurdity, or unconventional thinking is safe. This freedom promotes risk-taking in thought, allowing individuals to generate ideas they might otherwise dismiss. By experimenting verbally, they can discover innovative connections, spot hidden patterns, and refine their understanding of complex concepts. This iterative internal dialogue strengthens both creative problem solving and the ability to synthesize diverse ideas. Moreover, self-talk supports long-term idea development. By revisiting concepts aloud, individuals can track the evolution of their thoughts, notice inconsistencies, and enhance clarity. This ongoing dialogue reinforces memory, integrates prior knowledge, and nurtures deeper insight. It also enables cognitive rehearsal, allowing individuals to test how ideas may unfold or interact before committing to action. For example, an inventor or researcher might verbally map out an experiment, anticipate challenges, and refine procedures in real time, increasing the likelihood of successful outcomes. In addition, creative self-talk often intersects with motivation and emotional engagement. By verbalizing excitement, curiosity, or anticipation, individuals maintain enthusiasm and focus on their projects or ideas. This integration of affect and cognition enhances both productivity and the quality of creative output. It ensures that imaginative exploration remains sustained, deliberate, and directed toward meaningful objectives. Ultimately, the creativity and imagination fostered by talking to oneself demonstrate the profound psychological utility of self-directed speech. It allows individuals to explore ideas freely, integrate multiple perspectives, and refine solutions in a safe, judgment-free space. Far from being a sign of eccentricity, this behavior reflects advanced cognitive sophistication, enhancing problem-solving, innovation, and intellectual agility. Through self-talk, the mind becomes both laboratory and canvas, enabling endless exploration and creative growth.